Hi guys, I'm Carol aka Codaleia and welcome on my art channel. I'm a freelance artist and illustrator, and here in my first tutorial on my channel I will show you how I color a simple line art in Clip Studio Paint. So sharpen your pencils, grab your stylus and let's draw. So let's go. I open Clip Studio Paint here and I am working on my character drawn as Chibi. So these are the 6 characters. So from Clan of Paris, our custom Gargoyles clan, and I will show you how I simply draw the line art of each character. These are drawn so as sketches, and I will show you also how I simply color them like in a cell shading style, simply in Clip Studio Paint. So let's go. I don't know if you are familiar or not with Clip Studio Paint, but it's very similar. It's an alternative to Photoshop, so it's very similar, even if there are some tweaks and some differences here and there, but it's very simple to handle even if you're used to using Photoshop. So here you have the sketch in the middle, you have the chromatic circle on the left, and here you have all the swatches that I took from every character in the Clan of Paris. So each line represents all the colors of each of the characters you see here, and I will show you how I do. So you have here all the layers. All the software is here in French, so don't bother with if you don't understand all the menu and everything, so just so you know. So you have here all the layers, and I have like a folder with every sketches in a different layer. So I just group them in a folder and I create a new layer. Here you see I just started to draw Delacroix. Here I already started to work on her. So here I use, for the sketch, I use this custom pencil that I really like. There are actually like a blue one and a red one, like in animation, and I really like the flow and the grain of this brush. So I usually use those pencils just to draw. I can't remember exactly where I found them. I know that I found them in the Studio Paint assets. It's free, so if you're looking for like pencils, animation pencils, maybe you may find them very quickly. So I use this for the sketch, but for the line art I usually simple the realistic G pen. Here, this is what I use on this line art layer. So as you can see, it's a little bit grained, it's a little bit textured. Instead of the G pen is very smooth. The G pen, the real G pen, I think it's in English, the real G pen gives a little grain to the line art. So with this, the main news and the main attraction of the real G pen is that the more you push on your stylus, the more the stroke is thick, and the more you just have a light hand, the thinner is the line. Like here I almost just scratch the line, but if I just use the pressure of the stylus, the stroke is thicker. So I use this to give a sense of weight to the line, like here. And with this, I just simply draw the line art. One thing that is very useful is just to open a new instance of your sketch. You can just shrink it to have like a thumbnail, to have a look of what you're doing is doing in the overall drawing. So here I just keep an eye on the zoom out drawing while I can work on a much more zoomed in instance, if you see what I mean. I changed the shortcut. For me, I use F5. So if you want to create a new instance of your drawing, you just have to go to Window. I guess it's Window. Here you have Canvas, I think it's in English, and here in the first you have New Window. So you see I just put the F5 shortcut, so I can just hit F5 every time I need it, and it creates like a new instance of your drawing. And what is also very, very useful, especially in Clip Studio Paint, because there is not this in Photoshop, sadly, is that this new instance here, I can just flip it, but it won't change, it won't flip also the big one that I'm working on. And this is not possible on Photoshop, because if I flip the little instance, well, it flips also the other one, and this is very, very useful on Clip Studio Paint, I must admit. If it exists on Photoshop, just tell me that you can just flip the instance and not the big one you're working on. If you know how to do this, just please tell me how to do this, because I think it's one thing that really annoys me on Photoshop. So let's keep on doing this line art. Alright, now that the line art is done, now the next step is to add like flat colors. So now for adding the colors, first I will just isolate the silhouette of the character in the main hue, the main color of her skin. So for her, this is this blue, this electric blue, and I just will create a new layer. And now what I usually do is just trying to get the line art without any gap in the line, and I will just with the wand pick the color on the outside and just try to, as you can see, just to pick the negative space, sorry, around the character, just to see where there is no character at all. So now before I invert it, I will just extend with 1 pixel the selection, just to be sure that the selection will go like under the line art and not just on the edge, just to avoid this kind of weird line around of weird gap between the fill and the line art. Alright, and now I hit Ctrl+Shift+I, just don't forget to use the right layer. I fill with Alt Backspace the character, and boom, you have it. You can see that there are some spaces that you have, like the selection was too into the character, so you just have to, with the pen tool, just to add some color, just to have the right silhouette. So afterwards you can just use a clipping mask. So the color that you add will only affect the color that is blocked underneath, if that makes sense. I think that maybe you've seen that in a lot of tutorials here and there on YouTube. Alright, now it's done. It's time just to fill every part of this character with the color that you see on the first line here, and I will just so fill this. You can use the bucket or the fill tool, it's just up to you. So the bucket is here, and with that one I will just create a new layer and use clipping masks, and you can see it just add this little red bar here. So this layer will just appear only in the pixels that are in the layer underneath. So this is the hair of the character. Let me show you the fill tool. So if you just click here, the fill tool, if you just select here, the font that you are creating is just filled with the color that you have selected. So you can do this, but there is a simplest way to fill the colors, and it's the bucket. So So the bucket here, you can just fill it simply with this. So now that I feel like the most obvious parts of the silhouette, I will just show you how I use the fill tool just to fill the eyes. Because as you see, the lineup is not closed with the eyes, so I won't be able to use the bucket. So for this, I use this fill tool with like a gray, and I will just do a selection just to be careful, and boom, it's filled. Simply as that. And boom, you have your flats. So here you can see I just put the flat in just one big layer, but you can just put every different color on a separate layer, or you can just put everything on the same layer. It just depends on how you work. So for this, I will just put this one in multiply and take like a kind of toned down purple. And for this you can use any brush you want. You can use like the brush that you use for inking, just to have harsh lines, and that you can maybe tone down afterwards, like with this one, just to blend it. The only thing that you have to do is choosing where your light source is, just to be consistent with your shading. And now that the shadows are almost done, I will just add a new layer here just to add the lighting parts. For the highlight part, you can use any blending mode that you usually use. You can use screen or overlay or burn dodge or color dodge. It really depends on what effect you want. So for me, I will use this screen, which is kind of, I think it's almost the same as the screen in Photoshop. And in general, at the end, I just add a new layer just to put some stuff on overlay, just to push a little bit the colors, just like with this bright blue. And at the end, I just add a little touch of white in the eyes, usually with the G pen, just to give a little bit of life in the eyes. And well, that's it. It's really simple, really straightforward. Of course you can do better here and there, but this is like a simple tutorial just to show you how you can do it simply in Celsys Paint. Alright, this is it. I hope you like this video. So subscribe to this channel if you haven't done this already, and don't forget to like and share, and also don't forget to ring the bell down below to be informed when the next video will be up. So talk to you soon in the next video, and until then, take care. Bye bye.